All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a huge question for pretty much any growing business out there. How do you actually get SEO done? And not just done, but done consistently and effectively? The answer? Well, it might not be what you think. So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we're going to flip the main question on its head. Then, we'll get real about what doing SEO actually means today. After that, we'll look at the three main paths you can take, and finally, I'll give you a toolkit to figure out which one's right for you. All right, let's jump right in. And we're going to start by challenging the question that, let's be honest, probably kicks this whole thing off for most business owners. Yup, there it is. Do I need an SEO agency? This is the big one, right? It's probably why you're even watching this. But here's the thing. It's actually the wrong question. It's like you're jumping straight to the prescription before you've even diagnosed the illness. Okay, so let's just rip the Band-Aid off right now. The short answer? No. You don't automatically need an agency. What you really need is something way more fundamental than that. And here it is. This is the real question. It's not about whether you need an agency. It's about whether your business can consistently execute high-level SEO without one. Can you really do the work week in and week out, month after month? That's the gut check question. So, to figure out if you can handle that execution, we've got to be on the same page about what doing SEO even means. Because believe me, it is so much more than just a simple checklist these days. I mean, just look at this list. We're talking about a whole interconnected system of things that never stops. You've got technical site health, ongoing keyword research, actually creating content that people want to read, smart internal linking, building authority in PR, and then constantly measuring and adjusting everything. It's a lot, and it all has to work together. And this quote just nails it. Doing all of that week after week while also, running a business, that's where things fall apart. It's not that the ideas are impossible to understand, it's the sheer relentless effort that breaks teams. It's a bandwidth problem, plain and simple. Okay, so knowing that execution is the real beast we're trying to tame, let's look at your three main options for getting it done. DIY, hiring in-house, or bringing on an agency. We'll see where each one shines and, more importantly, where they tend to crash and burn. First up, DIY SEO. Look, this can totally work. If you're in a less competitive space or you already have the skills, you might be fine. But where does it fail? It fails when SEO becomes that thing you'll get to later. It turns into this unofficial second job. And you know what happens when a real fire starts in your business, right? That side task is the first thing that gets pushed off the to-do list. Okay, option 2, hiring someone in-house. This feels like the ideal move, doesn't it? But counterintuitively, it can be the most expensive path. And here's why. Companies hire one person and expect them to be a 4-person department. You want them to be a master strategist, a tech wizard, a brilliant writer, and a PR genius. That's not a job description, that's a recipe for complete and total burnout. And finally, we have the SEO agency. Let's be clear, an agency isn't a magic wand. What you're really buying is an execution system. It's the right move when you're in a tough market and you just need the work to get done, no matter what internal chaos is going on. But if you plan to micromanage them, or you think you're going to see results in a few weeks, yeah, you should not hire one. I love this quote because it applies to every single path we just talked about. SEO is a long-term system, not a vending machine. You can't just put $1 in and get a first-page ranking out. It's an asset you build over time, like compounding interest. All right, so how do you actually make the call for your own business? Let's get practical. Here are a few tools to help you figure this out. First things first, let's do a quick self-audit. And I mean be brutally honest with yourself here. No one's grading you, this is just for you. Okay, you ready? Question 1. Has your organic traffic been flat or even worse, declining for the last 6 months or more? Question 2. Do you, right now, have a spare 10 hours times every single week to dedicate to SEO? Be real. 3. Do you already get the basics of technical stuff, content, and links? 4. Can you actually crank out good content on a regular schedule? And finally, number 5, is SEO always losing the battle for your attention against other more important business tasks? Now, the guidance here is pretty clear. If you answered no to more than 2 of those, trying to DIY this is probably just wishful thinking. And look, whatever path you end up on, you have got to get your timeline expectations in check. This stuff is not instant. Think of it like this. The first 3 months or so, that's just cleaning up the foundation.
By 6 months, you should start to see the needle moving in the right direction. And at the 1-year mark, that's when SEO can really become a predictable, reliable source of growth for you. Now, if that audit pushed you toward exploring an agency, please watch out for these red flags. If anyone guarantees you a #1 ranking, just run. If their reports are super vague or they hide behind a bunch of jargon they can't explain in simple terms, that's a huge warning sign. Good partners can explain what they're doing and why. So when you strip away all the details and all the options, it comes down to 3 simple truths. You need SEO, you need execution, the actual work has to happen, and you need consistency. Those are the 3 things that are totally non-negotiable. And that brings us right back to where we started. The decision that actually matters isn't agency or no agency. The real question is this: where is your execution going to come from? Where is your consistency going to come from? Answer that, and you'll know exactly what to do next.